to the vlog. I just recently ran my first marathon, so let's talk about my top 5 shoes that I cycle through. Now, to give you a little bit of a background about me that hopefully can be beneficial, and just so that you know that it's coming from a trusted source, to put simply, no BS. I grew up playing various sports at the competitive level. I did 16 plus years of gymnastics. Then in my early 20s, I went into the bodybuilding phase, as we all do when we're just getting into lifting. Right after that, we went into competing at the CrossFit Games, and now we're a full-on runner. All this is important to know because having grown up being a competitive gymnast, I trained majority of the time barefoot. I developed very flat feet. Now, can this be the reason why my feet are flat? No, but the feet do adapt based on the hours we put in with training, and especially as you're growing up. That being said, shoes are extremely important, especially when it comes to running. And I have tried them all, and I've worked with various brands, if not all. So here we go. Starting off with slow to fast, to little to long distance. Number 1, we got the New Balance 1080s. This is the shoe that I'm wearing if we're doing a 5 to 10K outside, easy pace, not fast, zone 2 heart rate, just chilling. This is also a great shoe to start off with if you're just getting into running. For any beginners, I highly recommend. It has a good, nice wide sole and a lot of good foam, so that you have that cushion for, again, beginner runners, and you don't build any bad arches or anything like that. It is a great all-around trainer. I use this shoe probably about 2 to 3 times a week. If I'm doing about a 30-minute zone 2 easy run, this is the shoe that I'm wearing. If I'm doing really any sort of cross training in the gym too, I also use this one. I think it's a great shoe, and I would highly recommend, especially if you're just starting out with running. Next, we have the Mount to Coast P1. This is a great shoe for any sort of indoor running. If you're running on a treadmill, if you're running on a runner, I always say that this is honestly a great shoe if you like to do high rocks or any sort of cross training that involves running. That probably has nothing more over than a 10K. I would honestly go back and forth between this shoe and the 1080s of New Balance. Now, do you need both? Probably not. If I had to choose between one or the other, I'd probably choose this one just because it allows me to do more in the shoe. It's also a great shoe for any sort of trail running. And why I say that is because of the stability in this shoe. Like if I had to wear a shoe every day, it'd probably be this shoe. Now, does it have any of my favorite designs? Like, probably not. But when we're looking for stability, comfort, and all-around performance, this is a great shoe. Again, this would probably be another shoe that I would recommend, that if you're just starting out in running and you're just maybe looking to run between 30 to 60 minutes long and maybe about 1 or 2 runs a week, this is a great shoe to start off with. Now, if I was training for a half marathon or a marathon, I probably wouldn't be running at all as much in this shoe. But again, if I'm running on a treadmill and I am doing some sort of marathon prep, I would definitely use this shoe, mainly because of the stability on the shoe. I don't want anything too thick or too foamy if I'm running on a treadmill, again, or anything outdoor or indoors. So for distance, we got 5 to 10K. For duration, we're looking about 30 to 60 minutes. For speed, we're looking at easy tempos, if anything. Now, if I was running outside and I had to do a trail run, this would be the shoe, and I would for sure trust it compared to other shoes, again, because the sole isn't too thick and the stability on this shoe is phenomenal. Now, I know we probably shouldn't have favorites, but coming in at number 3, and probably the shoe that I use 90% in all my runs, is definitely going to be the Brooks Glycerin Max. A phenomenal 10 out of 10 shoe. If I was going to recommend just one shoe to train in, especially if it's just for running in general, I would definitely recommend the Brooks Glycerin Max. And here's why. The shoe, the sole on this is thick, it's foam. You can put in so many miles in this shoe and it's gonna take a while for it to break apart and break down, but you literally feel like you're running on clouds. Like, I truly mean that. This is a great shoe. Again, if you're looking to put in like those long runs, those long miles, if you're training for a marathon, this is a great shoe to train in. If you have bad feet and you have very flat feet and wide feet like myself, I highly recommend this shoe. This is not going to rip up your feet. This is not going to hurt your ankles. This is really going to be good for your knees, especially because running is a lot of high impact. So I would highly recommend, if it's not this shoe, I will also list a couple shoes on screen that is probably near a good recommendation of this type of shoe. But again, this is for recovery runs. This is for longer miles, long duration. Again, if I had to recommend one shoe for you to get, would be the Brooks Glycerin Max. Highly recommend. It is a great shoe. I will say that this shoe is heavy. As you're starting to get into like mile 6, mile 7, you're definitely going to start to feel the weight on the feet from this shoe. But that being said, when you go into a lighter shoe, or you go into your game day shoe, whatever that may be, which I would probably assume that it's something way lighter and built for speed, you're gonna feel extremely fast because it's almost like running with ankle weights with these shoes. Not actually, because it's not that heavy, but I'm just saying compared to more running shoes that are out there, this is definitely gonna be a little bit on the heavier side, but I can assure you that this is gonna build good mechanics, build great muscles for your feet, and also just keep your knees and really your whole lower body safe. And next we have the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4. Now this is a great shoe for any sort of tempo runs, speed runs, those faster runs, anything that you're going to be increasing the pace. I will say the downside of this shoe, specifically this shoe, because not all Saucony shoes are like that, the stability on this is not great. You're going to be rolling your ankles probably often. At least I do, because again, I have a wider foot, a flat foot. So that being said, if you do not have that and you have good arches in your feet, you didn't train barefoot when you were growing up, then this honestly could potentially be a great shoe for you. And again, if I had to choose one shoe for you to grab, it would definitely not be this shoe. It would be the Brooks Glycerin Max. But that being said, they're both very different. One of them is a recovery shoe and for long miles and easy runs. This one is for the tempo, for the speed. We're looking at, the 45 to 90-minute range of training in these shoes. I know I've run a half marathon in them, and I PR'd my half marathon. I would recommend this shoe to anybody if you're looking for tempos and speed runs, but just know that the stability on this shoe is quite crap. These shoes are carbon plated. You can't go wrong with the Saucony's Endorphin Speed 4s. They also have various options, which I will drop on the screen, that are definitely going to be a lot better when it comes to stability and cushion that I also have. But this is the one that I've literally beat to the ground. As you can see, they're so dirty. But yeah, tempos and speed runs, Endorphin Speed 4s. And lastly, race day shoes. This is the shoe that I ran in the marathon with. These are the Adidas Pro 4. I would say this is a great race day shoe for sure, especially because it has the cushion that you need. It has the good carbon plates in it. It's super bouncy. I like how the toe point of this shoe is a bit cut off and flat. I love that it doesn't have a slit in the back. I honestly feel like that's just not good for me, especially when it comes to stability. I feel like it just covers my whole foot perfectly when it comes to a like race day carbon plated shoe, because majority of all those shoes are very narrow. I will say, if I'm being completely honest, I have been gifted 90% of these shoes. And some I've got myself. I was gifted these, but the reason why I'm telling you they were gifted is because I was also gifted the most popular shoe on the market when it comes to race day shoes, and that is the Nike Vaporflies. Honestly, I wanted so badly to like them, especially because I was like, okay, I'm running my first marathon. I just want to look good, and I want to feel fast. And yeah, I would say that is definitely not a shoe I would recommend if you are flat-footed and your feet are like 2x4s, like not the shoe for you. That shoe is so narrow. Honestly, I ran in them for like 30 minutes and my feet ripped. Like they were like busted one of my toes. Like, I'm not even being dramatic. It is just not a shoe for me. And I felt so bad letting them know that, hey guys, I will not be running in the marathon with these shoes because frankly, they are just not for me. But yeah, I will have to say that was sad and sort of like, dang, I really wanted to work with Nike and the other shoe brand that I will not name that were gifted to me. But it is what it is. And I'm very honest when it comes to these things. and the Adidas Pro 4 is a good race day shoe. Now, again, when it comes to race day, definitely make sure that you have the right shoe that works for you. Don't just get them because they look great, and I and myself can be very guilty of that. Make sure you test them out, you do a good long run in them before race day, and you break them in, because you just never know. I mean, again, you're running 26.2 miles in this shoe. You don't want to be uncomfortable, and you don't want your feet to be ripping and going through hell, because it's a long time. So make sure you have the right shoe. And lastly, guys, running shoes are not cheap. They can be very, very expensive, especially race day shoes. They range between the $200 to $400 range, depending what shoes you're getting, what brand. But most importantly, make sure you know what you're getting. If you can go to a good running shoe store and get your feet tested out, they usually know what to recommend. Secondly, remember that shoes are a preference, right? Like, all the shoes that I just named, I could give you the best advice and tell you what are good, what is good and what is bad, but everybody's feet is different. Not everybody has flat and wide feet, and some of you guys might be freaking great in the Vaporflies. I mean, there's so many people who wear the Vaporflies, the Nikes, for marathon day, and it's for a reason. They're great shoes, they're very bouncy, but I will say, if you look at the numbers online between Adidas Pro 4s and the Nikes, they are right there, they're head to head. So definitely, if you're looking for race day shoes, weigh some options out and make sure you know what you're getting and what you need. But yeah, I hope that this video was helpful, and I will do definitely more of these. And let me know if you guys enjoyed this video and if you'd like for me to do another one in the future, because I have lots of shoes. And as I get more into my running journey and go into my second marathon that I'm going to take you guys along with, the whole prep and the series, all of it, I will be sure to be keeping you guys in the know and doing more of this. But again, if you want more shoes and more fits, whatever it may be, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to do it. I'll see you guys.